Shaun Evans is here. It's our good friend Shaun Evans.
Hello, gentlemen. Nice to see you both.
Good to see you. And we're not going to do the Happy New Year thing anymore. We're fed up with Happy New Year now, okay? So, but Happy New Year.
And to you.
Oh, we said we weren't going to do it. I'm sorry. Shaun Evans is an actor with credits across stage and screen, but we know him best at the moment as the young Inspector Morse in ITV's hit series Endeavour. Shaun is back as Endeavour Morse in a brand new 4-part series from this Sunday at 8 p.m. over there on ITV. This also marks the 30th anniversary of Inspector Morse first being shown back in 1987. So, Shaun, would you mind if I just played a little bit of that first episode ever?
I want to.
OK, here it comes.
Lewis, listen, tell me about this key I'm supposed to have. No. Tell me about this money I've been borrowing. No, in fact, tell me, as you've obviously been doing your homework, tell me everything you know about Anne Stavely.
You're not going to deny that you
Lewis, actually, I think the best thing is for you to follow me back to my place. I've got a bottle of some very good Desert. Clearly going to have to swap. Oh, I would actually like to get back to Canal Reach tonight. We could always get to an off licence.
Apart from anything else, I think my wife wouldn't be too happy.
Fair enough. We'll get to an off licence, OK?
You have got all that to come because you're young Morse, right? So you're eventually going to become him, aren't you?
Yes.
In fact, you are him. The heavy drinking, the classical music, the snapping at people.
Yep.
I mean, if you carry on doing it for years and years and years, which we hope you will, you're going to get really nasty, aren't you?
Yeah, that's the plan. That's the plan.
He was never really nasty, though, was he? He was a little short with people, as that clip illustrates. But we see that in the young Morse as well, to some extent, don't we?
Yeah, I think so.
At the end of Series 3, Endeavour had finally completed his sergeant's exam, but there was a big story about an armed robbery. Yes. So when we see you on Sunday in the first show of this next series, what's occurring there?
So it's 2 weeks afterwards, and we get the results of the sergeant's exam, and Joan is still left, and so it's the aftermath of that.
OK.
And Joan is Thursday's daughter.
Oh, sorry, yes, yeah.
And there was a hint of romance.
Yeah, a tiny bit of romance, fingers crossed, but not to me.
He's a very interesting character, the way you play him. And I remember asking you last time, had you watched the original series? And you said eventually you did, right?
No,
oh,
I still haven't seen it.
You still haven't seen it? Seriously?
Yeah, true enough, yeah.
Why not?
Because I bought the DVDs and I thought, well, I just thought I'd do my own thing.
Yeah.
To be honest. And, like, I didn't want to have to think about doing an impression of someone. So, yeah, I just did my day's work with the script I had in front of me. I thought if I, like, watched too many of someone else do something, then it might inform it, not in an interesting way. Do you know what I mean? And then I'd just be doing a copy of someone.
You read the books, though, didn't you?
I read the books, yeah. I read the books. And so, but that's all your imagination, though, isn't it? See, that all takes place up here. And so that's easier, that's much more beneficial, I think, for an actor anyways, rather than watching someone else do something.
I really think you kind of captured him, and he is kind of how I would imagine, you know, from watching him on television, not reading the books, how he would be as a younger man.
Oh, cool, brilliant, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, it really does work for me.
Cool.
So now...
I'm pleased to hear it.
Yeah, well, thank you. Thank you for Morse. Thank you for bringing him back. We love you. Now, it's obviously filmed around Oxford, but how much is done in Oxford? And
Only about a week per block or per film, which is so 4 or 5 days. I wish it was more, but it's tricky to shoot everything there, you know.
Yeah, and you got the park and ride there. It's difficult to get parked, isn't it? Ask Tim here, because he works on Radio Oxford sometimes.
We've spoken many times on Radio Oxford. Yeah. Where have you been filming in and around Oxford in this series?
Outside the Bodleian again, and actually we were in this great college called St. Cat's, which was different architecture-wise. Usually you've got all of the stone impediments and whatnot, and this was much more modern. And it was really interesting. It puts a completely different spin on the story. I don't know, it was good. Yeah.
And do you have to film like really early in the morning or on a Sunday when there's not a lot of traffic?
On a Sunday, yeah. But you know, we've got a great team and we all know where we're going to be, so they prep it the night before and make sure there's no cars there, cover the little yellow lines on the street, and they're brilliant, man. They're brilliant.
Should hear about my sergeant's exam today. Results are out.
You'll be off then?
Well, no, not altogether. There's a vacancy coming up on nights.
Don't wait. I can walk in from here.
You're giving me a million.
TV. Let me ask you this, though, Shaun. What do you think of him as an actor? If you didn't know him or you weren't playing him, what do you think of him as a character?
That's hard, isn't it? Because I've spent so much time not thinking about it. So it'd be difficult to say. I mean, for me, I enjoy it. Like, I really love it. So it'd be like saying, what do I think about myself, in a way?
No, because you're playing a part, you're playing a character, and I would have thought that you... Because some actors, they kind of say, oh, yes, and they refer to their character as him. You know, they say,
Yeah.
oh, yes, well, he's this and he's that.
Yeah, I always think there's a danger doing that because, well, for me at least, because it's like I still do things which I think, oh, that was a stupid thing to do, and surprise myself. And so what I mean is, though, I don't know that character as. It's still like a surprise to me. Do you know what I mean? Because also, if you think about it, there's a piece of fiction in it, and also,
I thought it was real. Here's me thinking it was real.
You've got to get the character across, though, even though he's a fictional character. I mean, to me, I think it's the melancholy that's around him. I
Yeah.
mean, you may disagree, but you bring that to the part, even as a young man, which is kind of even sadder that he's like that as a young person.
Yeah, well, that's what was interesting to me about it initially when we first started, from the books at least. How do you turn, who is this person as a youngster? Which then becomes this guy who was written books about and made a TV show about.
And in this series, what happens in...
We're very serious today, aren't we?
No,
Yeah.
it's all good, though.
Very
It's all good,
interesting, yeah.
Because, you know, Morse is part of our heritage and culture. I mean, that sounds ridiculous, but he's been part of our life, and now he's part of our life again. And, you know, that's a great thing, isn't it, really? And this goes around the world, of course, because I've seen you on in America.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They cut 10 minutes out of it in the US.
Why?
Something to do with the slot it fits in, because one of my mates was in the first one, and then when he watched it in the US, he'd been cut out of it.
Crikey.
Yeah.
It didn't ruin the plot line, did it?
No,
at
it
all?
didn't.
You still stood.
And does Dexter still come?
Sadly not. I think he was unwell, to be honest with you,
Yeah,
although
I've
he'd
heard
be
that.
welcome. But what we did to honour him, in a way, was in each one there'll be a picture on the wall. So in one it's as though he's the founder of the Oxford Mail, so there's a picture on the wall of him,
great.
and one of them is set in a hospital as well, and there's like a caricature of a doctor, and it's like Dr. Dexter. It's fast, but
So he's still in it?
yeah. It would be wrong for him not to be, I think.
Oh, absolutely. I'm going to play a clip, and then
Go
you
on.
can tell us what happens.
Dad, there you are.
Oh, excuse me, I'm Professor Amory. My daughter, Patricia.
Detective Constable Morse, City Police, Professor Miss Amory.
Actually, it's Dr. Amory, but I prefer Pat.
What can we do for you, Constable?
I believe Richard Nielsen's a colleague of yours.
Yes, certainly, integral member of the team. Is there news?
I'm afraid a body was recovered from just below Magdalen Bridge about an hour ago. And the clothes on the body match a description we have of those he was last seen wearing.
Oh, dear. So what's occurring there, Shaun?
So, in this one, there's a big chess match in Oxford, and a Russian diplomat is coming over to play chess against the machine which has been invented in Oxford. I know. Who'd believe it?
Yeah, who would believe that,
and a body as one. And it's one of the team of the computer boffins who've made the computer who's going to play this Russian guy. So then the finger's sort of pointed at, could it be one of the Russians, or could it be someone on his team?
Now, when we come back on Sunday, it's 1967, is that right? So that was the year of flower power and hippies and what have you, Summer of Love. Had that hit Oxford? I guess it probably had.
It hit it in the second one. I feel like it was lacking to not have any
Well, it's student town.
Yeah.
Everybody wearing caftans?
There's a bit of that. Sex, drugs and rock and roll in the second one. Yeah, man.
It's Oxford. What do you expect? And how long do we have to wait before we find out if he's passed his sergeant's exam? I mean,
Find out in the first one.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, and it's particularly annoying, isn't it? He's about to be a sergeant, but what is he now?
He's a constable.
Well, yeah, but that means that he's kind of... He's not,
Well, we
he's-
know he passes.
Yeah, I know, but he's solved all of these crimes in previous shows. He's running around like he's a full detective.
That could be a way for me to prolong it as well, though, right? So it goes on and on until I'm fit to become a sergeant and an inspector, whatever the ranks are.
Yeah.
Get me mortgage paid.
He's solved all the crimes, now he's back on traffic.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Now, I understand, by the way, that you've got a bit of an interest in poetry. Now, you've never told us this before. Is that right? Are you some kind of poet, Shaun?
I don't know if I would say that. Listen, I like a poem as much as the next person.
Yeah. Who's your favourite poet?
I like T.S. Eliot.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, all right. That's very good.
I wasn't expecting that.
Well,
I don't mind a bit of T.S. Eliot. Don't mind a bit of Betjeman, you know.
Yeah, man.
Gets you through the night.
Isn't
doesn't
she
it?
lovely, the mistress with her wide apart grey-green eyes? Betchman. You can see Shaun Evans in Endeavour on Sunday night at 8 p.m. on ITV. I love the banter that we do with you. We love it when you come in because you're spiky, aren't you? He's spiky, ain't he?
He's spiky, yeah.
But loving and friendly. So you can see Shaun in Endeavour. It's Sunday night at 8 p.m. on ITV, and it's a four-parter. Yes, so
Yes,
it's on
it is, my friend.
Every Sunday for the next month.
the next 4 weeks, yeah.
Okay, brilliant. Shaun Evans, everybody.
Thank you very much, lads. Thank you for having me, and I appreciate it.
Always our pleasure. Come again.
Always.